Alright, I have to find, I'm gonna do an anonymous quote here, because this message was just like, I was like, that's a great way of putting it, because it's like other people are going through the same thing, but we just don't realize it because nobody talks about it. Like, okay, here's one. Where'd it go? Okay, quoting now. So many people have just shown they don't care how I feel, or like make it a competition and disregard my emotions because they have been through worse or whatever. And I just hate that feeling, waking up feeling hopeless and like no one cares because they actually don't. I know better days are coming, but it just seems way too slow in times like this, just like digging and searching to find things to cheer me up all day, just hoping I find one thing that will help me sleep by the end of the day. It's like torture. And then, I mean, that's a lot to touch on as it is. And then it goes on to say, I'm a smart, talented, optimistic person, so it's hard to understand why I feel the way I do. My own parents don't even get it, but it all stems from the way other people have taken advantage of me and left me to feel that way with no remorse, and it really takes a toll on someone's mental health and faith in people being there for you, because you do everything alone just feels not worth it. It makes me question my purpose and existence and feel like I'm in zombie mode. Like you said, I said that. I feel like I'm in zombie mode all the time. So they feel like they're dead. And yeah, there's a lot more, but like it's just so much to touch on right there. And here's another one. It says, you're so right about finding those little things that make a good day and fighting for them. It's so difficult when you're so exhausted to put up that fight most days, but when you do, it literally is like the remedy when you get that good day you fought for. And then it goes on to say, it's cool how that little spark can motivate you day to day, like trying to start a fire, but if you lose it, the world gets all cold and lonely again. It's exhausting fighting to get people to consider your emotions enough to get the attention you need instead of seeming okay and them thinking you're fine and leaving you to deal with your own issues because it feels like there's no point alone. Yeah. My dream is for every day to just get better instead of it being like some crazy roller coaster of emotions, and it's like everyone else is satisfied with the roller coaster and doesn't see a problem with it. But people need to work together to build a better today instead of living yesterday over and over again or always thinking about tomorrow. I swear I live for today. I lied, it says, I swear I live for day to day. And most people don't know what that's actually like for people like us. It's exhausting trying to educate people on that too, but if no one does it, who will? And it sucks that you have to live it to learn it, so you can teach it, but at least you're reaching out to help people and make it easier for them if they go through it. Thank you for acknowledging that. And saying how it feels good to relate to somebody. And yeah, and going on to say how rare it is to find anyone who can relate. And my main point that I wanted to anonymously share the messages is because this is someone who's reaching out to me who I've never met before, I've never spoken to before or anything, and they're going through the same thing. And I never would have known it had I not put my story out there. And now they feel less alone, less isolated, and now we can connect to each other and talk about our lovely issues that we have because we understand what it's like. And I just wanted to say those anonymous quotes because, I guess not quotes, they're more like messages, but just, it helps. Even those messages will help so many people if this gets anywhere, for people to see that it's not just us who feel that way. It's so many more people than we realize. They're just too afraid to speak out about it. Not necessarily too afraid, but you know what I mean. Like, they're not going to put themselves out there. What did I just say? They're not going to put themselves out there necessarily the way that I've been trying to do. So I just wanted to share these messages because I've gotten other ones too, but they thank me for opening up and being vulnerable. But it's more than that. It's because they're sharing with me their story. They're trusting me to be vulnerable with me. And I asked first before I could anonymously quote. I didn't just randomly read this person's message without asking. I just thought it's really important because when I was reading those messages, I was like, it's like I'm reading my own mind or like something I wrote, because it's exactly the same thing that I'm going through. So I thought that was important to share because just so many people don't realize how many people actually go through it. So thank you for letting me anonymously share your message. You probably didn't think I'd read the whole thing, but still, it's all good stuff. It's good to be vulnerable. It's good to be open and honest, and for that person, they're on the right track with things. They are understanding and realizing that there are better days coming, that you do have to fight and push through to get to those days. And that sucks that you have to fight through the horrible days, especially when you're all alone and everything. But once you get to the good days, it's just totally worth it. And you have to just get every second of those days. Live for those days, literally. But yeah, more people, come on, message me. I don't have to share your messages, only if you let me anonymously, but I just wanted to do that just to show you that there's more people than we realize. I never would have guessed this person had it. I mean, you know what I mean? And it's true. Everything that message said is so true. People are okay with just existing and just replaying yesterday over and over again and everything, and we're in the middle of a crisis, and it's still not enough to make people realize how short life is, and just it's exhausting. And like they were saying, it's exhausting to try to live it and educate about it at the same time, but like they said, it's almost like you have to go through it to be able to educate about it. So I'm happy to do it. What do you want to know? I'll tell you. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I will. There's still so many people who even say mental illness doesn't exist. Anxiety's not real. It's all in your head. Depression's fake. And don't get me started. But yeah, so I hope that message was able to help someone else realize too. If it wasn't enough for me to say some of this stuff, this person saying the same stuff that we're going through. It's crazy how many of us are going through it and we don't even realize because nobody talks about it. So let's start normalizing this conversation. Strength from the madness, I'm telling you. That is... I just realized I'm not wearing one of the hats to tell you right now, or the hoodies. To say SFTM, read it, Strength from Madness. Yeah, that's awkward. Okay, but anyway, no, seriously. Let's start normalizing this conversation. Look at how much we can help each other. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's just crazy to me that I could read a message from someone who was being vulnerable with me about what they're going through. And it was seriously like I was reading something that I wrote myself. So I think we need to start to normalize this conversation. And again, thank you for letting me anonymously read your messages. Some of it. I didn't